Well, this is a big game for LA because they have not clinched a first-round bye yet. Here's what they got the last 2 weeks of the year. They're here today, and then they're against the 49ers. So the Bears, if the Rams should falter, if they win their next two, which is at San Francisco going on right now, and then against the Vikings, the Bears could sneak in and get that first-round bye. Jared Goff, he's playing, but maybe there's another story about who's not. Down to the sideline we go with Pam Oliver.
Well, Kevin, the Rams came into this ball game feeling a real sense of urgency, and today they will have to maintain that mindset without running back Todd Gurley. Gurley, who's been experiencing some inflammation in his knee, he came out and worked out a couple of hours before the game. I caught up with him a little while after that. He said that he had been feeling a lot better with that knee, but that he just wanted to, as a precaution, sit this one out. For the Rams, quarterback Patrick Peterson. He has been sick all week, but he is active and will play. Back to you.
Pam, thanks so much. So Gurley, yeah, we watched him work out for a long time, but not going. And we will see a lot of C.J. Anderson, who they just signed this week. Been a guy who's been to a Pro Bowl around the league. There's Gurley. So Anderson will be the lead back today, Charles, and we'll see how that affects this Rams offense, which has been a little uneven of late.
What's been interesting about it is the confidence the Rams have expressed in C.J. Anderson in such a short amount of time. We talked with Andrew Whitworth, their left tackle. He said he spent some extra time with him, and he's ultra impressed with how quickly he's picking up the offense. And when we talked to Sean McVay right before the game, he's like, get a look at C.J. Anderson. Might see a lot of him today.
And so the Cardinals won the toss. They have deferred, and here we go from Glendale, Arizona. JoJo Natson will take a knee, and we will see this Rams offense on the field first. Jared Goff leads them out, and Goff named to the Pro Bowl this week. First 11 games, he was just out of this world. Record of 10-1. They only lost to New Orleans. But again, he and the offense since the bye has not been quite as good. They've lost 2. Completion percentage is way down, and 6 interceptions to 1 touchdown the last 3 games. That's the most noticeable difference. They will run it. Here is C.J. Anderson, the former Broncos Pro Bowler, who gets that carry for Gurley. He's a guy who's been around, 1,000-yard rusher, but for some reason couldn't really find a home this year, Charles. He bounced around to Carolina and to Oakland, and he's a very capable player.
He's a quality player. Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator, remembers him well because Wade was the D coordinator in Denver when they won Super Bowl 50, and C.J. Anderson had 90 yards in that game.
Here is Goff after changing the play. Pressure comes, and he's got a completion. Jared Goff to Josh Reynolds for a Rams first down all the way up to the 49-yard line.
All year long, you'll hear about the Rams having 3 wide receivers, 1 running back on the field 90+% of the time. They've come out a little bit tighter formations to start things off. Still the same personnel, but with a little bit different look. Jared Goff checked out of what I think was a running play that was called to this pass play to Reynolds and gets his first easy completion of the day.
Yeah, they're going double tight end, Charles, to your point, to start this game.
Look how tight everything is in there right now for the Rams.
On first down, here's C.J. Anderson. Big cut up the middle and a solid run into Cardinals territory to the 45. So Anderson picks up 6 against this Cardinals defense. And, you know, look, they've had a real struggle overall because they've been on the field so much, Charles. They've got some players on this defense.
They certainly do have them. The number 1 players right there, Chandler Jones, their defensive end / outside linebacker. But they play with a 5 defensive back set most of the time. 3 safeties, what they call a big nickel. That's why I believe the Rams are going to come out and maybe more of those 2 tight end sets, more of those tight looks, and try and run the ball early.
Play clock winding down. Get it off and a fake. Here comes pressure. Try to set up screen, and it's knocked away. Benson Mayowa, who came in and got a hand on it. He's getting the start from Marcus Golden, who is injured and out today with an ankle.
He was an undrafted free agent out of the University of Idaho, number 91, coming right into your picture. And he can't get to the quarterback, so what does he do? Gets his arms up into the passing lane and tries to affect the play in that manner. And that's what he does. Bats away the attempted screen pass, and a good play for the Cardinals defense.
Turnovers have been an issue. And on third down, they haven't been nearly as good of late, but they are 8th in the league. Here it is, third. Pressure again. Goff sees it, fires Everett, the tight end, and he will have a Los Angeles first down.
And how about C.J. Anderson, the running back? Just comes to the team, just gets signed, but picks up this offense quickly. Take a look right there, number 35. Look how he jumps right in the middle and helps with blitz pickup against Dayon Buchanan, their linebacker. They trust him on the field throwing the ball in these situations already. That's a savvy veteran, and he must have really picked up the offense and impressed this team in a hurry.
Goff, pressure again. Fumble the football, it's loose. Picked up by Arizona. Buchanan came in and got it. Benson Mayowa with the forced fumble. Buchanan picks it up, and it's another turnover, what's plagued the Rams of late.
So now, watch him. He just got the pick up there, but watch his vision. His vision is here, and he needed to be outside. And Benson Mayowa ends up coming off the edge and knocks the ball free.
Turnovers have haunted the Rams of late. Good start for the Cards. Arizona first-year coach Steve Wilks is happy for his defensive end Benson Mayowa. Remember getting the start today because Marcus Golden is out. And we just showed you before it happened, the turnovers have really been the issue the Rams had not faced earlier in the year. But since the bye, it's been a huge factor. Jared Goff there, 6 interceptions and now 5 fumbles in those last few games. And now Arizona in great field position. First time with the ball, it's Josh Rosen. They will run it to David Johnson, who has a gain of 3 on first down and multiple penalties coming in on this play. Walt Coleman is our referee today.
Holding, number 78, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
That's on Colby Gossett, the left guard. So here is Rosen making his 12th start of the year. Came in week 3, started his first game week 4, and look, he's been uneven, but he's also been absolutely under siege with that offensive line.
He certainly has an offensive line that has had 9 different starting combinations during this season, and 4 of the 5 starters that began the year are on the injured reserve list.
Here is Rosen looking left, firing to Larry Fitzgerald, who makes the catch back near the original line of scrimmage, making 226 consecutive games with a catch. That's the 2nd longest streak ever.
Not to mention his 14th consecutive year with 60 or more catches. So he accomplishes a lot with 1 catch.
Really interesting talking to him, and he's maybe the most respected guy in the NFL from everyone. He is a Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, and he said, would you tell anyone if this was your last home game? He said, I'll probably just walk out of the building.
That's just who he is. Doesn't want the grand tour.
2nd down. Rosen going back to Fitzgerald. A couple completions to Larry Fitzgerald. Why not? Working on Marcus Peters. And a 3rd down and 4 coming up. This is the stat that Charles was talking about. I mean, most consecutive years, 60 plus. He's now at 13. This is his 15th year in the league.
How about that? And it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do offensively, because the Rams have gone to more zone coverages as the season has gone on, which should mean a little bit of room in front for these receivers. Larry Fitzgerald and a bunch of guys who haven't accomplished a whole lot. Can they find some easy catches early?
Rosen, pressure, steps away, looking to run. Rosen going to get there and more. Josh Rosen using the legs, and he got a good block from Chad Williams to pick up the first down and a 15-yard run.
That's good vision by Josh Rosen, the quarterback, because he's looking to his right, doesn't find what he wants, and sees the opening on the backside. He even gave it a little bit of a ball fake there, didn't he? You see that, KB? Almost like, hey, I might pitch it out. Nah, I'm just going to go ahead and run it. Nice poise by the rookie out of UCLA.
You talked about the Rams playing a lot more zone, Charles. Right now, Larry Fitzgerald against Marcus Peters, top of your screen. That bears watching. this play won't go anywhere.
False start, number 78, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, that's already 2 penalties on Colby Gossett, who's a rookie free agent. This offense has not been good. There's been a lot going on. They are injured beyond belief. Their offensive line, as Charles mentioned, 9 different combinations, so that has been a factor, but they also haven't executed. It's not all on the injuries.
And they've got to find a way to get this guy right here, David Johnson, make him a big part of their offense, whether handing it to him or throwing it to him.
Fake it to him here. Rosen pressured, and down he goes. Who else but Aaron Donald? 17.5 sacks on the year. That leads the NFL.
And watch where he's coming from. And who just got the 2 penalties? 78 Colby Gossett. Went right through him. And sometimes you can take advantage of a young player who's had a couple calls against him. He's thinking about that when all he should be thinking about is 99 right in front of him. And Aaron Donald went right by him, used his hands to great effect, and then used those meat hooks to put Josh Rosen on the deck. Look how they moved Donald around. Now they've got him over here working on the opposite side.
Rosen over the middle quickly and has a completion, and it's Williams who makes the catch. It'll be a 3rd down and long. So the Rams defense, Charles, they're a playmaking defense, right? They're not a shutdown defense. They allowed a ton of yards and points, but they a lot of turnovers and sacks too.
Yeah, and what they try to do is keep everything in front, make you make a mistake, or they get a takeaway. And Coach Wanstead was talking on the Fox Kickoff show that he hasn't seen them be very fundamentally sound in recent weeks. He wants to see if they start making the right plays, not just the spectacular ones.
Cardinals have to get down to the 10 for a first down. Play clock at 1. Just get it off. Rosen over the middle. Fitzgerald makes a catch, but he's going to be well shy of a first down. A good tackle by the safety, John Johnson. So here comes a field goal try. And Zane Gonzalez, the field goal kicker, who's had a new life here in Arizona. 3 of 4 so far. Phil Dawson went on IR, and you feel good for him. He's the guy that was the Brown who missed 2 field goals and 2 extra points in the loss to the Saints, so he's had a nice confidence builder here.
Also had a rough outing in the opener against Pittsburgh when they ended up in a tie. So those back-to-back games led to his demise in Cleveland, finding new life back here in the desert where he went to Arizona State.
36-yarder. It's Arizona in front. So already the Cardinals have more points than they did the last time these 2 teams played when they lost 34-0. Aaron Donald making sure it's only a field goal. 3-0 Cardinals. The Rams turn it over, but the Cardinals held to 3 because Aaron Donald had a big sack, and now it's 17.5 on the year, but they do take a lead. I mean, consider this. The last time they played in week 2, they only crossed midfield 1 time, so this is already
ahead of pace.
A way better start for Arizona.
But really bad for Los Angeles because you talked about the turnovers. To start a game with another one when they're trying to get on track, this makes this a really big possession for the Los Angeles Rams.
It's been a big problem. I mean, when we spoke with the Rams, it's all they talked about. Look at Andrew Whitworth. He may be 37, he may be 6'7", 330 pounds, but as Jared Goff said, he is the fastest to get on the field of all of us. And there's a fun matchup today, Charles, with Whitworth, one of the best in this league, against Chandler Jones right there, who leads the Cardinals in sacks.
And Chandler Jones is not just a physical player, but he's very cerebral. And what did Andrew Whitworth tell us? He said there's a martial artness to how he rushes the passer, his use of hands, and how he thinks his way through his pass rush.
Here is Goff. They will run it to C.J. Anderson, who's got himself a 6-yard gain. Let's get a game break. Check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So the Eagles down by 1 in a wild back-and-forth game when Jake Elliott hits this game-winning 35-yard field goal. Defending champs keep their playoff hopes alive. Houston now falls to the 3 seed in the AFC, and Pats move to the 2 seed. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
It's amazing. Nick Foles magic, right? It's unbelievable. The Eagles are still alive, and that means there's a lot of games now that all of a sudden are still more important next week. Vikings won today. That helps their cause, but they're not in yet. The Cowboys won the division today as they give it to Cooks on the jet sweep, and a lot of room to run. Ran Cooks all the way out to the 48 and a flag. Wonder if this is on the hit at the end of this run from Trey Boston.
Trey Boston plays this game with a bunch of enthusiasm, a bunch of emotion, a lot of passion for the game. Brandon Cooks may be understated. Watch him coming in motion. There he is, number 12. And here he goes.
Foul, lowering the head and initiating contact on the defense, number 33. 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
And you see right there, watch Boston's head right there. And as you see, going down to try and protect himself was Brandon Cooks. But the helmet makes the first contact before the shoulder gets involved. It's a good call by the officials. But I know this, Brandon Cooks, not daunted. That is one tough young man. Gets up and bounces up immediately.
Here's the fake. Goff has time, setting it up, going deep for Woods, incomplete. Antoine Bethea, good coverage, and he ended up knocking it away. Nice assist from Bethea, too, to help one of the security guards down.
One of the classiest guys in the league is Antoine Bethea. And look how he's reading the eyes of Robert Woods. And did you notice how he got his arm in? Watch his arm inside. See right there? Gets his arm inside so that Woods' arms can't come up and get the football. That's an excellent play by the veteran. And then he uses his head to knock the ball away inadvertently.
Totally on purpose, right?
Of course.
Use the head. 2nd and 10. Blitz. Goff in trouble, spins away brilliantly, coming back near side, and he's got a completion to Woods down at the 31. So it'll be a 3rd down and short. We're talking about the playoffs and all of the things in play today, second to last week of the regular season. So the Eagles stay alive. The Vikings are obviously in the driver's seat if they win next week. Seattle wins tonight against Kansas City. They're in. The divisions now are all set. What isn't set, though, is a first-round bye. The Bears can still get it. The Rams have to win out to make sure that they have a bye. 3rd and 4. Arizona backs off the blitz. Goff tries to, how did he get it into Woods? 2 Cardinals right there, but Robert Woods came away with it, and it's a first down for Los Angeles.
How was that knocked away? Was that Buda Baker, number 36? Watch him as he goes inside on the slant. I thought he was going to get a hand on the football. I thought Deone Buchanan, number 20, was, but Jared Goff with enough zip to get it through. And how about the concentration by Robert Woods? Arms flailing around him, knows he's going to take contact, and catches the football.
Fake to Anderson, who's got the tight end Higbee wide open. Higbee, an easy catch at first down, and a move down inside the 5. He got by Buda Baker. Tyler Higbee with the play, and it's a 1st and goal.
And I know this is a game now in the NFL where you go after the football, but look at Buda Baker, more concentrated on trying to strip the ball than wrap his body around big number 89. And Buda Baker's an excellent tackler, a big body guy himself, but look at him reaching, trying to flail and go for the football, and doesn't get enough of number 89, and he shakes him off.
That's Woods in motion. Give it to Woods, looking for the end zone, touchdown.
This was the 2nd fly sweep or jet sweep run today by the Rams. And during this weekend, as we prepared, our partner Pam Oliver reminded us that this is a huge part of the Rams offense. Sent us an article about the fly sweep and how it came about. Coach Bob Stitt at the Colorado School of the Mines, now the offensive coordinator at Texas State, once the head coach at Montana. Big part of his offense. Coaches coming from far around to find out more about it, and the Rams are using it well on the NFL level. Woods has done that a lot this year, but that is his first rushing touchdown of his career. And what it does is it puts LA up 7-3. It's a controversy at the start, but Jared Goff calmly moves him down the field. Woods does the rest. 7-3 Rams. So after a tough start with the turnover, the Rams on their 2nd possession go right down the field. Jared Goff good on that drive. Robert Woods with his first career rushing touchdown from 4 yards out. And it's a 7-3 game here in Arizona. Glad to have you aboard. And again, important for the Rams because they need to win the last 2 games to make sure they get that first round bye
in the playoffs.
How about Robert Woods finishing it off with the fly sweep or the jet sweep, whatever you want to call it. He came into this weekend 3rd in the NFL in rushing yardage by a wide receiver.
And so Arizona will take over on their own 25. Well, coming up on New Year's Eve, the Red Box Bowl kicks off between Oregon and Michigan State at 2:30 Eastern on Fox, and then flip over to FS1. Number 17 Utah battles number 22 Northwestern in the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. 6:30 Eastern. Catch it all on the Fox Sports app. Gus, Joel, and Jenny will have the call of that one. Look forward to that, and look forward to any name shorter than that next year.
No chance at all. They're only getting longer. And by the way, the Red Box Bowl, it's in Santa Clara, okay? It's at Levi Stadium. Remember when we used to know where the bowl games were?
Here is Rosen. They'll run it to David Johnson. And a short game to David Johnson. You know, Charles, you can't forget David Johnson. I mean, he was an all-pro in 2016. Then he blew out his knee, and it just hasn't been there for him this year.
And he was obviously he's a running back, but he's much more of an X factor, because running back, use him at wide receiver, use him in the slot. You know, you can run him inside, run him outside. His first couple of years at the University of Northern Iowa, he was a pure wide receiver before transitioning to running back. If I were the Cardinals today and Byron Leftwich, their offense coordinator, I'd wear David Johnson out and make sure he touched it a bunch today.
Rosen to throw it, 2nd down, gets hit as he throws and has a completion up to the 30. Ricky Seals-Jones. And you know, Johnson, you said it. I mean, Bruce Arians used to use him as a receiver a lot. Threw it to him a lot. He led the league in scrimmage yards. Last 3 years, he came on the scene and it was unbelievable, right? Look at those scrimmage yards. Almost, 2,200 scrimmage yards. And then unfortunately it was week 1. I said knee, I'm sorry. Wrist injury is what I meant. But out for the year was the bottom line. And then this year, he's been good. Not all his fault, obviously. They've had a rotating offensive line, but really hasn't been the factor in the pass game that he was that first year.
I would find a way to have him touch the ball at all times.
3rd down. Rosen has it blocked up. Fires. Knocked away. He was trying to get it to that man, but Corey Littleton on the knockdown and a 4th down.
We just talked about David Johnson and his transition in college from wide receiver to running back. Corey Littleton at the University of Washington began his career as a safety before transitioning to linebacker, and you just saw those defensive back coverage skills come into play. A nice chat with Wade Phillips about Corey Littleton, and he told us one of the reasons we thought he could play, 1, he was excellent on special teams, and 2, his coverage ability.
You saw that number 4 block punts since the beginning of last year by one player is insane. Here he does not block it. Good punt. Natson got real close, and it does not hit him. And a good punt. The Cardinals will down it at the 16.
And as they go into the playoffs, the Rams have to get JoJo Natson really comfortable as a return guy. Too many errors have occurred with the Rams in the return game in recent weeks.
Everyone in the holiday spirit. 7-3 Rams over the Cardinals here in Glendale, Arizona. And look, this is a big game for the Rams. They're trying to get home field and that first round bye. They can do that with a win today and a Bears loss. Bears are playing the 49ers right now. That game is scoreless last minute in the first quarter. We will keep you updated, obviously. Goff with a blitz coming, gets hit, just throws it away as he had to get rid of that one. Antoine Bethea was coming in on the safety blitz, and it'll be a 2nd down and long.
Big discussion with the officials right there, and I think they were wondering whether they were going to talk about intentional grounding, but determined that it was not. They all came together in a cluster behind the Rams offensive huddle.
Second down. Goff stands incomplete. He tried to hit Everett, and now we get a penalty. And there was Bethea on the coverage.
That was excellent coverage by Antoine Bethea, unless they detected him.
Holding, number 41, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Let's see if he ended up grabbing Gerald Everett on the whip route. Because watch, 81 right here. Right, okay, he's got his hands on him right there. You can see it. And as he turns, yeah, you can see the left hand grabbing him as he makes the turn. Because otherwise, he was in perfect position to go back outside with Everett. But that was a big reason why. He just guided himself through the route by holding on to Everett.
Here's Anderson. He's had a good start. And Anderson out to the 24. Well, we told you about that Chandler Jones-Andrew Whitworth matchup. There's a nice holiday feel to that, though, isn't there, Pam Oliver?
There obviously hasn't been too much to celebrate for the Cardinals this season, but their star defensive end, Chandler Jones, he wanted to do something positive somehow. So Jones decided to use his football skills to help raise money for the Phoenix Children's Hospital. He'll give $20,000 to the hospital for each sack he gets over the next 2 games. But, hey, Kevin, he's going to donate money regardless.
That is awesome. And that's a good thing to do, especially this time of the year. A big hole. It is Anderson, who's got a first down for the Rams. So playing for the injured Todd Gurley, C.J. Anderson just signed this week, and he's off to a good start.
They are wearing him out. But watch here. You're going to see the jet sweep motion, which you've seen them run twice already to nice effect. But look at the wham block coming backside right there by Gerald Everett on Chandler Jones, who Pam Oliver just talked about. So a really nice job of the Rams showing some misdirection, having the defense take their eyes in one spot and getting nailed back in another position. 5
carries, 31 yards for Anderson. And now we see the rookie John Kelly in the game for the first time in the backfield, number 42. And they'll give Kelly a chance to run. And Kelly is going to pick up 4. He had 4 yards total. His first 2 NFL rushes came last week. You know, it's interesting because with Gurley, you're like, well, what else do you need? Well, Malcolm Brown got hurt a few weeks ago, and Sean McVay said that is an enormous injury. And now we're seeing why, because he was a very capable backup.
And they would have turned to John Kelly full-time for Todd Gurley if it was strictly as a runner and a pass receiver. But it's the pass protection that's the issue, and that's why they signed the veteran C.J. Anderson, because he would do a better job of that for their young quarterback, Jared Goff.
Kelly stays in, 2nd down and 6. They bring that motion again. They're just going to run it. It's Kelly, and he gets a nice block, and he's out near the first down, should have it for the Rams. And that would also take us to the end of the first quarter here in Arizona. So the Cardinals got on the scoreboard first, but the Rams with the lead after 1. The Rams offense, well, one of the best in the NFL. They come into this second in the league, but the first 12 games, they were just off the charts. Last couple games against the Bears, who really played great, and the Eagles, who got an early lead, it's come down to earth. Third down percentage really down, and the turnovers. And we said it, Sean McVay has been angry all week because they've lost 2 in a row for the first time. And you could tell there's a little bit different intensity coming into this one.
A little bit of an edge, and people think that the defenses are showing a formula against the Rams of playing softer in the secondary and forcing them to throw it underneath and make plays that way. The Rams believe it's more on what they're not doing. We'll find out more as this game progresses.
Fake to Anderson, blitz coming, Anderson gets a piece and incomplete. He had Everett, but a little bit underthrown as some pressure came from Budda Baker. It feels like the Cardinals are blitzing a safety almost every play.
Well, why not if you're the Cardinals? Because they believe they can affect Jared Goff in the pocket. But watch, coming right from here is Budda Baker. Anderson can't get over there fully in time, and Baker has enough in front of Jared Goff's body that he affected the accuracy of the throw, and it falls incomplete to an open receiver, Everett, downfield.
Second down. Goff. Now the pocket collapses, tries to get Everett again, and that time he does connect for a gain of 9. A lot of time afforded by that offensive line, and Goff completes. It'll be a 3rd and 1.
They went all-out blitz with a single safety back deep. The Rams picked it up well, so that means the coverage was good because it took Jared Goff forever to find an open receiver, and we're seeing that coverage now. Patrick Peterson on Brandon Cooks. You saw the coverage earlier on Robert Woods, and a nice catch there at the end by Gerald Everett.
Rams 2 of 2 on 3rd down today. And we get movement.
Yeah, and I think Havenstein made sure he moved to get the call. Very nice play by number 79 in white.
Neutral zone infraction, number 20, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Dayon Buchanan, the linebacker, who got a little antsy. It'll be a first down.
Well, he's missed a lot of time recently with some rib and clavicle injuries. Happy to be back in the lineup and got a little over-eager on that play. Jumped into the neutral zone. Rob Havenstein, number 79, jumped at the same time to ensure the call and pick up a first down for the Rams.
5 penalties already on the Cardinals. None so far on the Rams. Play clock down to 2. Here's Anderson again. C.J. Anderson up the middle. C.J. Anderson breaking tackles inside the 20 and finally brought down at the 14. C.J. Anderson with a gain of 27.
So watch all these guys up front handle the defensive front of the Cardinals. Wherever they wanted to go, they just moved them. And Anderson read it, and a really nice block there by Roger Saffold, number 76. Just pushed, I believe, Rodney Gunter, number 95, back into the secondary. And how about at the end of the play, Anderson protecting the football with 2 hands? How excited is he to have an opportunity to run the football, something he did not get in Carolina as the backup to Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey never comes off the field. This is a guy that has run for 1,000 yards in a season before. He's no slouch, stutter step. Anderson puts the shoulder down inside the 5, and he's close to another Rams first down. He ran over David Amerson that time.
What was that Sean McVay said to you as we said goodbye today?
He said, oh, you're going to see a lot of C.J. Anderson. He wasn't kidding.
Look at that nice block by number 89, Tyler Higbee. He was there working really nicely on number 54 of Ontarius Dora. And Anderson just takes it through there. And as you noted, Kevin, dropped the shoulder at the end of the run. Todd Gurley encouraged by his mates in the running back room.
Also 22 plays, 11 rush, 11 pass. Sean McVay stressed getting back to that balance. They've had it early. Here is Goff. They're going to give it to the rookie Kelly, who dances around and has himself a 1st and goal.
What an excellent move by Kelly, because that play had the potential to be spilled in the backfield. We talked about the tight formations the Rams are showing early in the game, and that was another one. But he made a nice move getting out of trouble there and picking up yardage.
They're going to go quick here. They're going to give it to Kelly. No, Goff's going to keep it, and he's going to walk in for a touchdown. A little zone read from Jared Goff, and the Rams up 10.
Kevin, when he came out of Cal, in my evaluation of him, I remember distinctly writing down, Jared Goff has excellent pocket movement, but he will not beat you with his feet. Well, he just made a liar out of me there, didn't he? Zone read, Jared Goff, and it was all set up by the excellent running throughout the drive by C.J. Anderson and John Kelly and the offensive line of the Los Angeles Rams.
So without Todd Gurley, who has had an unbelievable year, Rams are running the football with authority today. Extra point is up, and it's good. So just like we all thought, Jared Goff with his feet, as Charles said. Gurley may be sitting, but C.J. Anderson having himself a day, and the Rams up by 11. So the Rams, after a sluggish start, have scored on their last 2 drives. And Charles, it's really the run game here. That last touchdown drive, 11 plays, 84 yards. They ran it 8 times on that drive.
And coming from formations we haven't seen much of from the Rams throughout this season. They've been a 3 wide receiver, 1 back team for the most part all year. They can still do that, but they're even bringing guys like Josh Reynolds into a tight end position to block at the line of scrimmage, or bringing in an extra tight end to aid with the blocking and using the jet sweep motion to show you the wide plays, and then hitting back inside with the traps and the power plays with C.J. Anderson.
He's got 104 rushing yards already, and that's without Todd Gurley, who's second in the league in scrimmage yards. So that's been the story early. Meanwhile, the race for the top seed in the NFC, well, it's not over yet. The Saints have a 1-game lead on the Rams, and they also beat the Rams. So New Orleans would have to lose the next 2. The Rams win the next 2 for that to happen. But also, it's no lock yet for the first-round bye. If the Rams win the next 2 games, they've got it. But if the Rams falter and the Bears would win the next 2, then the Bears would get it. Those are the scores. Saints are losing early. It's the Bears and 49ers scoreless, but the Niners are now in the red zone. So we'll keep our eye on all of that. 3 games going on. Sorry, Charles.
No, it's my fault. Rams can't afford to have a tie with the Bears. They lose that tiebreaker in head-to-head.
Here are the Cardinals. How do they answer? Get it to Larry Fitzgerald. That's usually a pretty good answer. But right away, it's Corey Littleton who is there on the tackle. We showed Littleton before making a nice play on pass coverage. Pretty impressive. All his special teams prowess. By the way, he also leads the Rams in tackles this year. He's done a fine job.
Yeah, he's gone from a special team stalwart to a very good middle linebacker in the league and is going to the Pro Bowl because of his special teams work this year.
2nd and 9. 4-man rush. Rosen over the middle, incomplete, and now we got a penalty flag. John Johnson got a hand on it. Jermaine Gresham was the guy who was intended for, the tight end.
That's thrown from the back, Judge Greg Yeti. I think he may have grabbed him going across the field on the route. That's why he's throwing the flag.
Pass interference, number 58, defense. Ball we place to the spot of the foul. First down.
So of course, give praise to Corey Littleton, and he commits a penalty. You know, that's the way it works,
That's
Charles.
exactly how it works. Throw the whammy on him. But all in all, he's having a fine season, and that's a good gain for the Arizona Cardinals without completing a pass. See, we've seen the offense for the Rams get untracked here early. What the Rams want to see is their defense, okay? They want to see this thing work. Oh, sorry, had the wrong guy. And look at Littleton go inside. And he was working with the tight end there, Jermaine Gresham, and got caught holding it.
Pressure on Rosen. Here comes Donald. He runs away from it. He's just going to run in period. Rosen staying in bounds on the first down. What a play from Josh Rosen. Looked like he was happy to take a few yards, and he turned it into a nice gain and a first down for Arizona.
And this is a team, the Cardinals, who have struggled all year, but they keep telling us they're going to continue to play hard. Look at this block by Ode Abouche on number 50, Samson Ebukam.
That was a block.
That was a heck of a block, peeling back on the play and helping out his quarterback.
First down. Here comes a blitz. Picked up. Rosen going to come near side, and it's dropped by Chad Williams. Let's get another game break with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Kevin. So Packers-Jets tied at 38 in overtime when Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams for that walk-off 16-yard score. Rodgers finishes with 442 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Guys, pretty good. Kevin?
Well, they may not be going to the playoffs, but he's still competitive.
What was that about them saying maybe they'll shut him down for the last 2 games?
Yeah, good luck.
We got to ask him.
2nd down. Rosen steps away from the sack. Thinking about run again. Why not? It worked the first time. It's working again. Josh Rosen using the legs at another first down, a pickup of 18.
You remember last week in Atlanta, he was sacked 6 times, and they took him out of the game for his own well-being. And many were saying, shut down this rookie for the rest of the year. Don't get him hurt. To me, it was important that he take the snaps this week. Show his teammates his toughness, show his teammates his leadership, not show that he's way more valuable than others, even though he is. And you learn a lot in these types of games. You learn how to get out of pressure. You learn how to get away from people, and Josh Rosen's doing that very well in the early going against the Rams when the pressure's in the pocket.
We get a flag, and it's a timeout by the Cardinals. We'll take 1-2 with 9:47 to go in the first half. It's the Rams up 14-3. So the Rams fans have 1 good and 1 bad score. The Saints are winning. They don't like that. But the 49ers have taken the lead over the Bears, which they do like, as the Rams try and clinch a first-round bye. They could do that today if they get a win and a little help from the 49ers. So we'll continue to track that throughout the day. Those are the 3 games going on right now in the NFL. Meanwhile, Josh Rosen has used his legs on this drive. Rams up 14-3. And it's a 1st and 10 for Arizona. Quick throw. Fitzgerald looking to throw it. Larry Fitzgerald going for it all. He's got a touchdown. David Johnson. The first touchdown pass for Larry Fitzgerald, and the oldest wide receiver to ever throw a touchdown. Larry, and the extra point is no good by Gonzalez. But the chance of Larry Fitzgerald as you look at the play, and again, the oldest wideout to ever throw a touchdown. It had been Harold Carmichael back at 83. Here it is.
So watch him. He steps back, and look at the screening right there from the blocking. And then Larry Fitzgerald throws a beautiful ball to David Johnson, who beats the coverage downfield. We actually saw them practice this play on Friday, and Larry Fitzgerald threw another perfect strike to David Johnson in that situation. And how about him not missing the layup? Johnson has 5 yards on Ebicom, number 50, and ends up beating him to the end zone, and Larry Johnson just feathers it in there perfectly. We keep thinking there's nothing he can't do, and he keeps proving that, doesn't he?
It's his second ever completion. You know, it just kind of felt like it, right? You don't know if this is going to be his last home game, but it just felt like it might be time to do something special. And, you know, that drive, Charles, just like we planned, right? Josh Rosen running the football and Larry Fitzgerald throwing touchdowns.
So what it told us is that this team brought some fight to this game. Once they got down 14-3, you start to wonder. But this Arizona team continues to scrap. And that was a nice drive, as you said, led by Josh Rosen.
Larry Fitzgerald. We'll go back to his first catch in the NFL, 2004. Is that Josh McCown? Is that who that is?
And how interesting, it's on a flea flicker. We just saw a specialty pass by Larry Fitzgerald. His first ever completion was on a specialty play. And how about that? His first career catch to his first career touchdown, bookended from rookie year to present.
Boy, is that beautiful. What a player. Hall of Famer to be. There's no question about that. We've got a game. It's 14-9 Rams with 9:40 to go in this first half. Woods in motion. They'll flip it. Anderson, and down he goes. Benson Mayowa, who's had quite the first half with a strip sack, a pass knocked down, and then the tackle for a loss.
And he did not buy the fake inside. He stayed out and kept his responsibility. Watch Mayowa right here, number 91. He doesn't buy the inside, just beats the double team, goes right past Tyler Higbee, number 89, and gets back there and spills the play. Tell you what, if you're just watching the first half of this game, Benson Mayowa, he wants to know if the Pro Bowl votes have been totally counted yet.
Second down. Three-man rush this time. Now coming to Everett, the tight end. He is dragged down. Hassan Reddick, the linebacker, with the stop. Let's check in how the Saints got on the board. Carissa Thompson has that.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, they were trailing 3-0, looking to lock up home field advantage in the NFC with a win. This helps Drew Brees to Mark Ingram. Saints up 7-3 at home. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Meanwhile, by the way, that's important for Pittsburgh, too, because the Ravens could still win the division.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Pittsburgh is behind the 8 ball a little bit in their race for the playoffs.
Fans are into it. 3rd and 10 for the Rams. Goff, a lot of time over the middle to Brandon Cooks for a first down. Beautiful throw, and Cooks makes the reception out to the 43, and he picked up 18.
They've had their most success, have the Cardinals, when they've blitzed and they brought extra pressure. On this pass play, they don't, and they play zone, and they get it blocked up really well. And Robert Woods finds the right area inside of Patrick Peterson. Pam Oliver told us at the top, Patrick Peterson missed some practice time with an illness, but showed up today to play.
Cooks. And makes a move. Brandon Cooks, they've used that now 3 times, handing off to the wide receivers on those jet sweeps, Charles.
And they're showing it enough when they don't hand it off to them that you've got to respect it at all times. So they're showing a nice mix of this. I keep going back to Pam Oliver telling us during the week, hey guys, don't forget, this team runs these jet sweeps like crazy. Here's an article you guys ought to read. Get yourselves coached up and be ready for it. She was all over that one, had the early scouting report, and it's working quite well for the Rams early.
106 rushing yards for Los Angeles. Anderson, left, first down. C.J. Anderson, you just have to remind yourself, playing for the injured Todd Gurley, he just got here this week, and I know he's been around the block, Charles, but for a guy to get to the camp this week, not necessarily be familiar with the playbook, and to play, you know, he's played 90% of the snaps in the running plays, right?
It certainly seems like he's the one guy that was beating the quarterback to the facility early. You always hear about it, every organization. Your best quarterbacks are the first in and last out. I think C.J. Anderson was there with Jared Goff and anyone else who wanted to be there to learn these playbooks, learn the playbook, and be prepared for today.
Run it again. Anderson inside the 40 and still chugging. He's all the way down to the 36-yard line. So the Rams run game, you know, you see all the big plays. This team runs the football, and they're doing it today. Woods with a rushing touchdown. C.J. Anderson's been great in his Rams debut, running through people. Jared Goff has a rushing touchdown. Here it is. Let's keep people honest.
Yes.
Second rushing touchdown, so that's been the story of their offense.
Brandon Cooks has a couple of carries today from the wide receiver position, and John Kelly, the backup tailback, has gotten some carries as well.
There's no foul on the play. Second down.
So the flag came out real late while we were showing you that piece, and apparently there is no flag. So Steve Wilkes looks on. Guy who's getting his first chance to coach a football team, and it's obviously gone horribly wrong. Yeah, but you have to like the way they've played today, don't you?
You have to love the way that they played today. This is a day where the Rams, once they jumped up 14-3, you wondered if maybe Arizona might go away a little bit, especially with last week getting blown out at Atlanta. But they're continuing to play hard here in the first half.
Still over 5.5 to go in this second quarter. Anderson working his way forward. I think he's going to be a yard shy of a first down.
See that signed Monday by the Rams, 10 carries for 74 yards thus far. Do you get the sense that Sean McVay, as a head coach and offensive play caller, went into that offensive team room and just challenged everyone to be more physical, to run the football, to get back on track and start playing Rams ball? That's what it feels like coming in the early going here.
Meanwhile, the Grinch calling for the crowd to get into it on a 3rd and 1. Cooks gets it on that motion again. Brandon Cooks has a first down. Big hit by Boston, but that was before, or after I should say, Cooks had picked up the first.
And this is a really good read by Brandon Cooks. And most receivers, when they run the jet sweep, they want to get to the perimeter, all right, at all costs. But watch him read the block here by Higbee and cut inside of it back into where the traffic is. Nice toughness by Brandon Cooks with a good read.
3 carries, 27 yards rushing for Brandon Cooks. Off to throw. A lot of time. Pump fakes, hit as he throws. He got it off. It's Woods. Makes the catch. And he's got a first down inside the 20. Dora came with the pressure. And Goff still stood in there and delivered the throw. And a pickup of 13 yards. Montarius Dora from Louisiana Tech getting a lot of reps today. And we told you Marcus Golden's been out. 10th play of the drive for Los Angeles coming up here as we wind down in this first half. It's been a fun one from Arizona. Anderson right up the middle. C.J. Anderson down to the 15. He's got 4. I wonder, Charles, you know, the Rams use both their tight ends, and now they're going to hurry up here, get to the line quickly. They always use both their guys, but I wonder if they've played as many 2 tight end sets all year as they have here today.
I would bet no. When you've watched them all year, it's been probably 90%, 3 wide receivers, 1 back.
They spread it out here, though, with an empty set on 2nd down. 3-man rush. Goff stands in. Woods with the catch. Turns it up inside the 5. And so Robert Woods with a first down and more. He picks up 13. It's 1st and goal.
So watch Woods, number 17, as he just cuts underneath shallow. And they ended up dropping number 56, Zach Moore, out of the defensive line. But if he's on his feet trying to play a receiver, there's no chance at all of that. So if you don't get pressure on the quarterback, Woods will just bypass him and get open. which is exactly what occurred there.
Meanwhile, Jared Goff quietly having a very efficient first half. He had the fumble, but he's 10 of 14 for 113 yards. First and goal, it's Anderson dancing now, plowing through the middle. Touchdown, Los Angeles.
Do you know that almost got spilled by the wham block coming inside? Okay, so watch coming in here, all right? But watch the block coming right here, and it almost got knocked around a little bit, and a nice jump cut. Watch Anderson read that with Everett. He's supposed to go to the right. Sees Everett finally get there and cuts back to the left with some power for the touchdown.
So how about that answer? The Cardinals have the big play, Fitzgerald throwing a touchdown pass, and all they do is march down the field to the tune of 12 plays, 75 yards. It took up 7.5 minutes. Goff playing well. His Rams 21-9, they lead it. Rams go on a long touchdown drive. C.J. Anderson has had an unbelievable debut. He was just signed this week. I can't say that enough to come in. Gurley's hurt, second in the league in scrimmage yards, and C.J. Anderson's got 84 yards on 13 carries with a touchdown.
He's picked up the offense flawlessly. The only error that may have occurred was early in the game on pass protection, where the ball was stripped from Jared Goff, and even then, it may not have been him. So.
Let's go back to the touchdown by Anderson. Or excuse me, this is Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald. Here's through what he's looking at, Charles. Think it's easy?
And look at that.
All that in front of you.
But he threw that with anticipation, because at the time he threw the football and lofted it, David Johnson had not cleared yet totally. He put it out there, and look at Josh Rosen as excited as if he threw the touchdown pass. You know what Larry Fitzgerald did? He threw David Johnson open. How about that?
Are you surprised?
No.
He does everything else.
No.
Chase Edmonds in the game in the backfield, I believe, for the first time, and he gets eaten alive by Aaron Donald. My goodness. Donald's got a sack today, and he just had Edmonds for lunch.
And they were trying to run some of that misdirection as well. Didn't fool Aaron Donald.
Takes us to the 2-minute warning. So it's been a fun one here from Arizona, but it's been the Rams offense getting back on track with the run game. They're up 21-9. Well, this is just how the Cardinals would draw it up. Their quarterback, Larry Fitzgerald, 1 of 1 for a 32-yard touchdown. Their running back, Josh Rosen, 3 carries, 45 yards. And, of course, David Johnson, the receiver, right? Obviously, that's not all their positions. But, hey, Josh Rosen was a former running back.
You're exactly right. His first go in Pop Warner, he was a running back. What do you call it? The double wing formation, running back then.
Now he's in trouble. He's got to run and gets decked as he throws far sideline, and he's got a completion over there. How did he make that? Trent Sherfield under a lot of duress. Sherfield has it, and back across the original line of scrimmage. There's a penalty.
Sir, number 50, defense. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Yeah, so it's roughing the passer on Samson Ebicom as Rosen got rid of it. Let's watch.
Take a look at the end of the play. Rosen gets rid of it, and he hits him up there high. You get up into that chest area, get into the neck area. They're going to call that every time, right in front of Walt Coleman. You see how the helmet comes in underneath the chin of Josh Rosen, dropping the head and bringing it up like that. That's going to get called every single time.
Yeah, it was weird. He lowered the head and delivered the blow. That's textbook penalty. And so that helps Arizona now with 1:54 to go in the half and 2 timeouts, down 21-9.
Here's Trent Sherfield, the rookie out of Vanderbilt, undrafted, caught his first touchdown pass in the NFL last week in Atlanta. Is this a catch? Catch the football. Does the second foot come down? I don't know if it did initially, but I feel like it did at the end. There's your first foot right there. Now where's the second foot? Drags it right there, and then for emphasis, watch as he goes down. He bounces it down in there too. That's going to be a catch.
That is not a question. So they're taking a look and essentially giving these teams a little time to catch their breath. But I don't see any way in the world they could overturn that. Matter of fact, I don't even know what they're still looking at.
Me either. But here we are. We're in the 2-minute warning, right? So we're in 2-minute offense. What did Steve Wilks tell us that he liked the most about Josh Rosen in his rookie year? His ability to run 2-minute offense. which he said as a quarterback in the league is one of the most important things you can do. And he does that pretty well already as a rookie. So here we are now, 2-minute offense. You flip it over for the Rams. What are they looking for now? When is this defense going to shut some people down and not just rely on making spectacular plays to save games?
We will find that out, Charles. As we take a look at the playoff picture while we're waiting for this call, Saints have now added another score. They're 14-6 on the Steelers. Remember, Ravens can win the division next week, so that's in play. Bears are down 6-0, but they are in the red zone. Remember, if the Bears lose and Rams win, Rams will clinch a first-round bye. That is what is all on the line with these 3 games going on right now in the NFL.
I certainly hope they're evaluating something else besides the catch.
This is honestly
evaluating
ridiculous.
the catch. That should have been done a long time ago. So there must be some. I'm hoping they come out and tell us there's something else they had to take a look at.
This is silly, honestly. I mean, you look at it one time, it's a catch.
After reviewing the play, the ring on the field stands. Completed catch. The roughing the passer penalty will be assessed from the end of the play. First down.
Well, they didn't give us anything else, so that seemed to be a little bit of a long time for that, but they did get it correct. So credit for that.
All that being said, 1:54 to go in the first half. 2 timeouts for Arizona. Let's see what the young quarterback Rosen can do. Charles talked about that 2-minute area where he has excelled. That in the red zone have been good areas for Rosen.
He's got 2 game-winning drives on his resume already as a rookie.
4-man rush. Here comes Aaron Donald. Slide step. Rosen going for it all. Going deep down the sideline. Incomplete. Diving effort over there by Jalen Tolliver, but just beyond his reach.
And made into a difficult catch because of good coverage by Aqib Talib, number 21. And how excited are they to have him back full-time? 5-time Pro Bowler. Look how he just takes him right to the sideline and makes it very difficult. Your margin for error in trying to fit that in is very small.
Larry Fitzgerald on slots on a 2nd and 10. Rosen looks his way, going his way. Fitzgerald with the catch. First down, still going. Larry Fitzgerald all the way down to the 41-yard line.
How about the missed tackle that he forced on number 41, Marquis Christian, to gain the additional yardage?
No timeout taken, but obviously no need to take it there. Here comes pressure. Rosen senses, gets rid of it, and good tackle. Corey Littleton was right there. Edmonds made the catch, but he had nowhere to go.
And didn't let him get out of bounds. Tackled him in bounds to make the clock keep running and force decisions if you want to take timeouts or not.
You have 2, but Rosen electing not to take any of them just yet.
Still a lot of time, still a minute to go in the half.
Rams show blitz, they back off. Rosen stands in, fires. Fitzgerald, what a hit! Aqib Talib, perfect timing, and it's incomplete.
That was zone coverage because Aqib Talib able to read it. Watch him at the top. He's showing man-to-man, but it's really zone. And he reads that and falls back into the coverage as he sees the ball going inside to Larry Fitzgerald. And a perfectly legal hit, shoulder first, in the strike zone, and forces the incompletion.
Talked about having him back. He missed 8 games with ankle surgery. Now Rosen on the run. He's run it today. He's going to run it again. Tackled from behind. And the ball comes out, but he was down. It was Littleton again. And the time is winding down here. Littleton's a little banged up. It's 4th down. And well, Littleton is hurt.
See, you know the Cardinals aren't calling timeout because they want this to wind all the way down and 4th down and make a decision about what they want to do. And the Rams not calling timeout because they're up 21-9. In fact, they're in good enough shape here. But look at that. But look at Littleton. Look at the speed. The former safety and the heel probably came up into his stomach.
So they'll tend to Littleton, but because of the injury, there is a timeout. And now the clock is running, so we'll get that sorted out. Meantime, why don't we take a second and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll catch you up on the flurry of early games, as well as the new playoff picture. Plus, we'll fill you in on the cold facts of that important Steelers game in New Orleans. Hey, we're just getting warmed up. The Visa Halftime is next. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Kurt, looking good, my man. Meanwhile, Corey Littleton back in, and I think, Charles, you hit it. I think you got that heel in the stomach, and that hurts, but he's back on there. And they're going to try a 54-yard field goal with Zane Gonzalez. His career long is from this distance.
Rams, an excellent block unit. Will they go after this one?
Gonzalez puts it up there, and it's not going to be there. It is wide. And so Gonzalez missed an extra point. He's missed a field goal, and the Rams will take over. And we'll be right back after this message from Progressive. 13 seconds left. There's no reason the Rams can't take a shot here, up 21-9 after the missed 54-yard field goal. Looks like they will. Cardinals come with the blitz. It's picked up. Goff coming near side, and he's got a completion to Robert Woods, who goes out of bounds at the 46 with 8 seconds left, and they'll have time at least for one more play with 2 timeouts and have a chance for a field goal here.
When you struggled, as the Rams have in recent weeks, you don't turn down opportunities to put points on the board. And Sean McVay, as aggressive as he's been in practice all week, he's gonna model that in game day too, isn't he?
You know it. And so Zerline has got a career long of 61 yards. And we get a whistle. Arizona called the timeout. So realistically, they are here on the 47, and they get 5 more yards. They could easily, I mean, they might try it anyway with Zerline. So it's 21-9. There's 8 seconds left, and we welcome you here to the booth. Charles Davis, I'm Kevin Burkhardt. So have you seen enough? Do you feel good that the Rams offense is kind of back on track?
I do. Now, obviously, it's not the greatest test in the world because of the struggles of Arizona,
Yep.
but they look crisp. The execution is better. They've changed up things a little bit in terms of how they're running the football, especially with the newly signed C.J. Anderson. But the Rams' questions to me are on the other side of the ball. This is the worst offense in the league that they're playing against in Arizona. When are we going to see some shutdown from that Rams defense as they head towards the playoffs? But I do like that timeout by Arizona. They actually took a couple of seconds off the clock for the Rams before they go run this last play.
Zerline getting ready. 8 seconds. They're going to run it to C.J. Anderson, who's got a lot of room. Look at that. It's going to work out beautifully. They'll call a timeout, and Zerline will have a chance for a long field goal to add to the lead. So the missed 54-yard field goal by Arizona, and now that leads to a Rams opportunity. And a reminder, coming up, the Visa Halftime Show with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Tony. We'll update the entire playoff picture from today. A lot going on. A couple things are now locked. A couple things up in the air. Highlights from the other games, Steelers, Saints, and the Bears now have the lead over the 49ers. This will be a 57-yard field goal for Greg Zerline, which would be his long this year, not his career long.
And remember, he's recently back from injury. Right? Remember, he had a bad groin earlier this year. And against these Arizona Cardinals early in the season, Johnny Hecker had to do the kicking after Zerline got hurt in that game. But they do call him Legatron for a reason.
This will end the half. Hecker with the hole. Zerline kicks it. Fit. Boink.
That's what happened on the kickoff. Now it happens on the field goal.
Oh, Pammy showing us that Hall of Fame track star. Sean McVay is a runner, we're told. Go get it, Pam.
Not getting away from Pam.
Play the first half presented by DirecTV. More your thing, that's our thing. Well, here it was, a little chicanery. Larry Fitzgerald, his first touchdown pass of his career. Oldest wide receiver to ever throw one in the league. But it's the Rams up at the break despite the missed field goal. 21-9, your score. Kurt Menefee and the guys have the halftime show coming up after this.
I tried to say I wasn't worthy, it wasn't the right time, but baby, you already know I'm coming to get mine. You ain't get it in my
picked up by Arizona.
I don't ever want to slow down. Finally got it, this is my time.
Looking for the end zone, touchdown. Larry Fitzgerald going for it all. He's got a touchdown. That was today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive, as we're about to start this third quarter from Glendale, Arizona. Good to have you aboard. Larry Fitzgerald with a touchdown pass But it's the Rams up 21-9. And Charles Davis, I don't know about you, I'm still recovering from the tag team performance. Whoop, there it is at the half. That was outstanding.
They got the band back together.
Christmas miracle. But
what, even remember the lyrics?
I
That's
do.
Good.
Let's talk about the Rams, though. Offensively, without Gurley, they're running the football. I know you have a question. You're wondering about the D, too.
Yeah, and the way that they're running the football, C.J. Anderson just signed on Monday, cut by Carolina, cut by Oakland, but he had big years in Denver, was a Pro Bowl runner one of those seasons, and you're seeing him with the fresh legs from not much use this year. Look at that wham block inside by Gerald Everett, and look at him drop a shoulder and find his way into the end zone. So I'm liking how Sean McVay has changed things up. Todd Gurley's out today, no problem. 22 runs all day. It's been C.J. Anderson, John Kelly at tailback, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods at wide receiver, and Jared Goff. All of them have had carries, but my question does center in on the defense. Now look, Arizona hasn't gone crazy on offense. Where they have 136 yards or something like that? 131 yards. But at the same time, this Rams defense, you're going against the worst offense in the league. I'd like to see them shut them down and get some 3 and outs and build up their confidence as well, because their offense looks to be back in form.
Cardinals start the half with the ball, and why don't we go down the sidelines with Pam Oliver?
Well, coming into this game, Sean McVay, he had a lot of praise for how quickly C.J. Anderson was picking up the playbook. He feels even better about him now. He told me that the way Anderson is running the ball, it allows them to stay balanced on offense. Defensively, he said we could afford to finish the plays better. Yeah, they got us on that trick play, but that can be expected. For Steve Wilks, he told me that Josh Rosen really gave them some spark when he started running the ball. Back to you.
He did. He used his legs, led to the Fitzgerald touchdown pass. Pam, thanks. And so what can Rosen and the Cardinals do to try and stay in this game right now? They're going to hand it up, but not much. Larry Fitzgerald, we've showed you the guy is amazing, right? He's also helping Pam with her report. Just, you know, Charles, just making sure Pam was locked in. Little smelling salt, make sure she's okay. Look at the reaction.
And Pam's like, you know, Larry, I don't need this. I'm fully engaged, okay? But of course, as only Larry can do it, huh, Pam?
That's right. I told him to back up. Go play. Mind your own business.
Pam, how did that smell, Pam? It didn't look good.
Yeah, it was a little funky.
Oh, that's something. Here comes a blitz by the Rams. Rosen hangs in and incomplete. He tried to get it to David Johnson. Fowler brought the pressure. And it'll be a 3rd down. So what you're talking about, trying to get those 3 and outs. And your point, Charles, is this. You know, the Rams have a lot of playmakers on deep, but the last 6 games, they've allowed the most points in the league.
And people can run the football on them. And when you get to playoff football, depending on where you're playing, what's your location, that's why home field's so important for them, to get the good weather. Because, you know, you don't want to go on the road and deal with some bad weather and deal with teams that run the ball at you hard like that. That's where they have to get better. This is a great opportunity to start working on that.
3rd down 8. 4-man rush. Rosen coming near side, and it's caught by Sherfield, who works his way for a 1st down. Trent Sherfield had his first career touchdown last week, and he delivers a 1st down there.
And see, that ball's thrown short. Zone coverage. Marcus Peters has a chance to put him down behind the sticks. Sherfield makes him miss, picks up a 1st down. Nice move by the rookie out of Vanderbilt, getting past Marcus Peters, the former All-Pro.
They'll run it here and run it well. And David Johnson has his best run of the day. He's going to pick up 15 yards and a 1st down for the Rams, or the Cardinals.
And this is well blocked. Watch these guys get their blocks, and look at that. End up double teaming Brockers, and then able to get right through the gap. Marquis Christian came up to try and make a play, and Odea Boucher, number 70, took him out, and he gets right to the 3rd level, which is where the secondary is, in a hurry.
Johnson again. Not much there. It's only his 5th carry of the day. They'll try to get him involved. Of course, he has the touchdown catch from Larry Fitzgerald.
You remember in the first half, I implored the Cardinals to find every which way to get him the football. And I don't know if I was as specific as I needed to be. Of course, he's going to run the football. I see Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator. But can you get him into the slot? Can you get him out wide? Can you run some sweeps with him, maybe coming back in motion? Anything to try and get him the ball and let him use his talents.
On 2nd down. Four-man rush, but there's pressure. Rosen senses, tries to get away, but can't do it. And Ndamukong Suh delivers with the sack, but there was pressure from all over.
So here's Donald right here, and Brocker's 90 working next. Look at him work inside of Boucher, but he gets up the second man in Mason Cole, the rookie, and Brockers keeps working against Colby Gossett, and Suh's going to get the credit, but Brockers forced the action there. And those are some serious shoes that Michael Brockers brought to the game today, aren't they? We were watching them in pregame warm-ups. Did I see the Grinch on the side of those?
Oh, we'll have to take a look. Here, though, it's third down. Rosen, and tipped at the line by Suh, who tried to tip it to himself, but it's incomplete. So a couple of big plays by Ndamukong Suh on this drive, and the Cardinals are forced to punt.
Back-to-back action from number 93. So watch him at the top there, coming from the defensive end position. Watch him work inside, sees Rosen deliver, follows his eyes, and falls back inside on the play, and gets his arms up into the passing lane and bats the ball out of the air.
Fair catch by Natson at the 10. That's where the Rams will take over. So Ndamukong Suh flashing on that last series. Rams football, and they're up in the third. Jared Goff. Well, he is a Pro Bowl quarterback, and he has had himself quite the year. And he's had himself a nice day. 11 of 15, 122 yards. Remember, it started when he got strip sacked and fumbled. But since then, he's been real good. He also has a rushing touchdown today. So he has looked calm, he's looked cool, and he's making some good throws. Rams football up 21-9. Has got it, and he's got a first down for the Rams.
How about Sean McVay? We've seen the jet sweep from the receivers in the first half. Now he says, okay, you've seen it, but have you seen it from my tight end yet? And here comes Gerald Everett, and they just sneak it to him. And the blocking on the perimeter is excellent. Look at that block out wide. Tyler Higbee, number 89. I think he's done an outstanding job today, either blocking at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, or even out in open field, as we just saw there.
I mean, think about this. 6 Rams have run the ball today. That's something you don't see all the time. Anderson, who's carried most of the time, 92 yards for him in the first half, picks up a few more.
You know what I'm seeing from this Rams unit today? Something Sean McVay told you, me, and Pam. Back to basics isn't a bad thing when you've lost 2 in a row. And this has been a back-to-basics type offense for them, letting linemen come off the line of scrimmage and hit people right across from them, which is what linemen are built to do, letting everyone touch the football. This has been a nice day for them thus far, getting everyone involved.
Patiently and powerfully running his way for another first down out to the 35-yard line. And Charles, I'm just looking at it. You think about the Rams. They're playing without Todd Gurley today. They've now run it 25 times to 16 pass plays.
And they are loving life. And we were talking about those offensive linemen. They are firing off the line of scrimmage to create holes downfield. And look at there. There's your numbers. Exactly the kind of game that Sean McVay has wanted to call. He said we want to get back to balance. Being able to run the football this effectively opens up the passing game for Jared Goff, and he's been effective as well.
Anderson gets a breather as John Kelly comes in now. Fake it to him. Time for Goff. Loading up, throwing over the middle. Kelly, nice catch. Then turns and makes a move, and he's out for a 9-yard gain.
You know, in our Fox kickoff show, Michael Vick talked about how in recent weeks he feels like Jared Goff has been uncomfortable in the pocket. You just made the case a couple plays ago, Kevin. Not today. He looks a lot more comfortable throwing the football. And you see him, eyes downfield, excellent focus, and a nice job by John Kelly hauling that one in.
You know, last 2 weeks, they played Fletcher Cox, they played Akeem Hicks, 2 of the better interior rushers in the league. That is part of it. Going to hand it off to Woods again. He's got some room. Robert Woods with the speed, and he's down to the 45-yard line. 11 yards for Woods, and now a very late penalty flag. as this play was well over. So let's see what the flag is.
I don't know what the flag's going to be, but boy, was that blocked well.
Illegal block in the back, number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty. Still, second down.
I guess maybe too well.
Yeah, I guess so. So Rob Havenstein's penalty wiped out what I thought was a tremendous block by Josh Reynolds, who was right in front, number 83. And
It'll
right
still be a
there
first
is
down.
the penalty. There's the block in the back on Buda Baker, who went to the Pro Bowl last year on special teams and is an alternate this year as a safety.
Is that enough for a block in the back?
Probably not, but because it happened on ball side, on play side, it attracts a lot of attention. And these officials get graded as well. And the last thing they want is to have something not called on their grade sheet.
So instead they move it back to their own 45. C.J. Anderson is back in. C.J. Anderson on the fake. Here's Goff. Time again. Throws a laser to Reynolds. First down and then some down near the 30. Jared Goff has been on point today. 26 yards on the hookup to Reynolds.
Well, when you say someone's uncomfortable, when you give them pass protection like this, look at everyone locked up on people. That'll make you a lot more comfortable in the pocket as a quarterback. Would you just call that a laser? Exactly what it was. Beautiful call.
By the way, C.J. Anderson now with 104 yards rushing. He had 104 yards total on the year coming into today. Goff going to throw it. Oh, my goodness. Cooks decked by Boston and 3 penalty flags fly. And Cooks gets right up in Boston's face.
And Robert Woods comes to the defense of his teammate. But I want to see the replay because you throw the ball in the middle of the field, safeties are going to react. They react differently now because of penalties, but still they want to deliver the hit, and that's why. That was helmet first again. Second time today for Trey Boston. It's not the shoulder leading, it's the head leading. And he takes it right in the front of Brandon Cooks.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 33, defense, hit on a defenseless receiver, half the distance to the goal, first down.
What we just saw there from Trey Boston, tremendous call by the officials, but what we saw from there, that's the old NFL. What we've seen earlier in the game, I think Aqib Talib on Larry Fitzgerald, remember that, Kevin? All shoulder, head not involved. Trey Boston did it old style, and that's not the way we play it in the NFL now. That's flagged every time.
You know, Cooks, remember, he's got a history, too, with concussions. He had one in the Super Bowl, so good news is he gets back up, and even though he's on the sideline, he appears okay.
He's a tough one now. I've known him since his Oregon State days. He bounces up every time he gets a chance, but you're exactly right. That should not be happening right now in today's NFL. Got to be able to turn the shoulder away.
Well, that's good news, saying that he is okay. Maybe the Rams just take him out to get a breather anyway. With all that, it's a first down. Darryl Hodge, the rookie wide receiver from Prairie View A&M, is in for the first time. Let's see too many offensive snaps. Fake by Goff, going back to Anderson, who's in trouble in the backfield, spins away, and now he's going to get gang tackled. Well played by Arizona. Corey Peters was there first.
How about the big defensive tackle sniffing it out? Watch Corey Peters, 98. He feels the play, starts towards Goff, and then reads screen. You see how he pulled off quickly? And then goes and makes the play. See him, he reads it, now he goes right to where the screen is, and he forces C.J. Anderson to slow down and allows the rest of the crew to get there, and Corey Peters gets a piece even at the end. Very nice play by one of the captains on defense, Corey Peters.
Brandon Cooks is back in the game. There he is at a 2nd and goal as they're backed up on the 14. Goff to throw, going far side of the field. It is complete to Everett inside the 10, but that'll bring up a 3rd down and goal. Keep in mind the Rams today, they've got a jet sweep touchdown to Robert Woods. They've got a zone read touchdown by the quarterback Jared Goff, and a regular old right up the middle run by C.J. Anderson.
You know what Jared Goff would like here? A good old-fashioned touchdown pass to get himself going, keep himself going, I should say.
Well, he's got 27 of those, Charles, looking for another. Here it is, 3rd and goal. With time going that way, and it's caught by Cooks, but he's shy of the end zone. That was in a goal situation, so a 4th down and goal. And the Rams going to go. Goff says, yeah, let's go.
See, he doesn't have a chance to stay on his feet here and go for the pylon because the ball's thrown low. And you understand why. He wants to keep it away from the defender. And because Cooks has to go to the ground, he can't keep his feet and turn upfield.
Looked like they were going to go, and then Sean McVay called an audible, and here comes the kicking team.
I actually think it's the right call by Sean McVay. They've moved the ball well. Keep a good taste in your mouth. Put the points on the board.
Anything to do with Zerline missing before the half make him feel better? No.
I don't think that hurts one bit.
So it'll be a short one. 21-yard field goal for Zerline. It's up and it's through. Rams add on another nice drive. They settle for a short field goal, and they've got a comfortable lead in Arizona. Here is the playoff picture in the NFC. So the Saints and Steelers locked in a good one. Saints by 3 at the half. That's got a lot of implications here. Saints trying to lock up the #1 seed. The Rams win and the Bears lose. The Rams will clinch a home first-round bye and, of course, a home game. Right now, the Bears are losing to the 49ers at the break. So that is a developing story. Sean McVay, how do you not love what he's done? They're without Todd Gurley, who's got the second most scrimmage yards in the league, who's second in the league in rushing. And then what have they done? They've run the ball as much or more than any time this year, and they've run it with great success. And they have a 24-9 lead. There's Gurley looking relaxed. Next Sunday, one of my favorites is back. The crew of the Starship Orville. From creator Seth MacFarlane comes a brand new season of thrilling missions and epic adventures. The Orville Season 2 premieres next Sunday after football on Fox.
That man has fashioned together a heck of a career, hasn't he, Seth MacFarlane?
He's also got a nice holiday album, Charles. You want to listen to the dulcet tones? It's out there for you.
On the flight home.
I know you're a big holiday guy.
That I am.
I don't know if I get a cut from Seth on that promo, but we'll see. I would like to. First down, here is Johnson, who bounces off a block. Ebicom really blew that play up, and David Johnson has nowhere to go.
How about Dante Fowler? They acquired him to be an edge rusher to help with the inside pressure they're getting from Sue and from Aaron Donald. And he played the run very well here. Watch Fowler 56. Watch how he just goes ahead and takes Corey Cunningham right back into the running back. The rookie out of Cincinnati, 79 Cunningham. Look at him get underneath with the leverage, pops him back into the running back. And so now David Johnson effectively has nowhere to go.
You know, you're right. I thought it was 50 Ebicom. It was 56. Fowler hit that on me a little bit. Nice play. 2nd and 12 to try to run again to Johnson. There's just not much there. And it'll be a 3rd down. So here is Josh Rosen out of UCLA. Grew up in Manhattan Beach, California. And, you know, Charles, got to say, really enjoyed meeting with him on Friday. I had never talked to him and, you know, talked to a lot of people about him. And, you know, he did not grow up in a football family. He grew up in a multi-sport family. He said, you know, our family sport, we'd wake up at 3 a.m. and watch Wimbledon.
Yes.
That's what did it for us.
Yeah, that's pre-breakfast at Wimbledon.
Exactly. That's what happens in L.A. He's got a fascinating background to get to this point.
And he's a heck of a tennis player as a young kid.
Rosen, though, on 3rd, gets hit as he throws. Is that a forward pass? 17 assigned. It's picked up by the Rams. Nikel Roby-Coleman is going to walk it in, and Rosen is hurt. Touchdown is the signal. Rosen, he is flexing that arm. He's hurt coming off after that hit. Fowler got the hit and the sack, and right now it's a fumble return for a touchdown.
Let's see, does the arm come forward, or does he get the hand before? See how he's holding the arm and the ball comes out? They call that the empty hand. And oftentimes that is called a fumble. So right there, there's Fowler, 56, getting to the arm of Rosen. And it's good officiating to let it play out. Because if they killed the play and they were wrong, they would have cost the Rams a touchdown.
The previous play will be reviewed.
But if it turns out that indeed it is a forward pass, it just comes back to an incomplete pass.
We'll review the play and also concern for Rosen. Back after this. Well,
so
they
here's
just.
the key
Sorry,
with this
Dean, go
play.
ahead.
Yeah, so does the hand clearly come forward with control? And it's so close. We were going back and forth in the studio during the break, and if it's not definitive either way, you always revert back to the call on the field. So I'm mildly surprised that they reversed it. But again, they felt the hand came forward with control, so they made it an incomplete pass.
Dean, thanks. Sorry to interrupt you there. Yeah, they made the call on the break. I'm a little surprised, too. with the call on the field. Meanwhile, Rams, instead it's a punt. Natson trying to make things happen. He does, but there's a penalty way back at the 11. So Natson has a nice return. But let's wait and see what the penalty is.
It'll come back. He got in trouble in the last game trying to reverse field and ended up losing yardage inside his own 5-yard line. And there's Josh Rosen who took the hit.
During the return, illegal block at the back, number 54 of the return team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Yeah, right in front of you, that's Bryce Hager. He ends up getting it on Joe Walker, number 59.
All right, that'll back up the Rams with 4:01 to go in the third, and we will be right back after this message from State Farm. Here at State Farm Stadium, this is really a gorgeous place. Obviously, it's been host to Super Bowls before. And
big time BCS action. First game I ever did here, Kevin, Boise State, Oklahoma.
Statue of Liberty.
First game I ever did here. Amazing.
It's a pretty good one. So after the penalty, the Rams are backed up. They're on their own 8. Of course, the Final Four has been here too. Here's Goff on the run, looking, nothing there. So he's just going to run and pick up a couple yards. We got another game break. Let's say hi to Carissa.
Hi, Kevin. So Pittsburgh trailing 6-14 when Ben Roethlisberger connects with Jalen Samuels for this 3-yard score. The 2-point conversion was good. Tied that one up. Saints added a field goal. They're up 17-14 at the half. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
So we'll keep our eyes on that. That is obviously something else to watch because Rosen really got hit hard on that arm in an awkward position. I wonder if he's going to come back in this game.
See, I think he's shown his toughness by showing up after last week. I think it's time to pull him and go with Mike Glennon.
Meanwhile, fumble, I think. Nope, Everett hang on. I thought the way he spun around might have lost the ball, but Gerald Everett hung on, and he moves forward. It'll be a 3rd down and short.
See, I think Josh Rosen will fight the coaches and will want to come back in. But you're talking about his right arm. You're talking about his throwing arm. You're talking about why you drafted Josh Rosen. Now's not the time to press anything or try and say, okay, let's see if you can fight through this. There's no need for that now. To me, Mike Glennon should take the rest of the snaps today.
3rd down and 1. That's Steve Wilkes looking on, trying to urge his defense. Rams 4 of 5 on 3rd. They'll run it here. Anderson, just like a bowling ball, picks it up. Ran right through Brandon Williams for a 1st down.
So the numbers for Anderson today, over 100 yards. His last carry, let me see if I wrote this down, was November the 8th in the NFL. So here he is coming in. Yes, he'll have fresh legs, but they may pack him in ice for the trip back to Los Angeles after this game. His body might say, what was all that today? But what a fantastic job he's done coming in and absorbing this playbook, as Pam Oliver told us earlier in the game, and being ready to play.
Might as well keep feeding him, and they do it. A big hole for Anderson and another 1st down. This is quite the performance for Anderson. And at this rate, you know, we saw Todd Gurley just chilling on the sidelines. They might put a hand down and be like, you know, Todd, you want to rest the knee for the playoffs next week? Might be okay to take off too.
Well, Todd already told the trainer the knee feels a lot better now. So look at that, the last 100-yard guy not named Todd Gurley was Trey Mason. And look at that zone block to the left. Look at Sullivan, 65, get upfield. Blythe, 66. Higbee on the backside doing a really nice job throughout this game, number 89.
Anderson again. That'll get him to 120 yards. There's Gurley. Again, just left knee soreness, inflammation. He's like, you know, maybe I can play today.
Look at him getting more treatment now. let's ramp up the treatment. Make sure I'm ready to go. Although if anyone that could be unconcerned about being ready for the playoffs and getting his job back is Todd Gurley.
They're obviously just having a little fun with it. But it is nice to have now a backup where you could spell Gurley a little bit, even in a playoff game.
And even more importantly, he handles pass protection so you don't get your quarterback hit.
Here comes pressure, though, and that time he dropped it. So the announcers have been very good putting the jinx on people today.
Looked like Cameron Malvo had a little hand in that as well. He was right on the scene, number 94 in red. The Cardinals wearing red on red here for the holiday for Christmas. Malvo helping affect it. Cheerleaders. Hey, Santa brought the team out today. right? With the big Cardinal siren. So the holiday spirit in full force.
Yeah, it'll be a 3rd down and 6. High snap, Goff corrals it in trouble, and down he goes. Hassan Reddick. And then we get a penalty at the end of this play, too.
I think there's going to be a hold on the Rams.
Holding, number 65, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
And that's more of what you would expect from a Steve Wilks defense. Al Holcomb is the defensive coordinator, came with him from Carolina. Steve Wilks, he was drawing up blitzes the day he got the job here in Arizona. And their best plays have been when they brought pressure at Jared Goff. Hassan Reddick came through, unable to keep him away from the quarterback.
Here's Johnny Hecker, 4-time Pro Bowl punter, gets off a boomer. Pharaoh Cooper, the ex-Ram, just signed with the Cardinals a couple days ago. And Cooper just trying to make something happen, but it's not there. Nowhere to run after a 60-yard punt. And so Arizona's D has a sack. They make a hole, but they got a long way to go in this one if they're going to make a comeback. Well, you got to give Josh Rosen some credit. He is tough. He got decked, and he looked like he could really hurt his throwing arm on that last hit, that sack fumble that was reversed, and they ended up punting. He's out there. Yeah, but sometimes you got to protect a young man from himself. They pulled him from Atlanta last week, getting sacked 6 times. That's his throwing arm that got hurt. I know he wants to prove more toughness. He's proven enough. I would not have him out there the rest of this ball game. You know, it's a little surprising. But he's #1 pick. Nonetheless, as they would try to run it, and Edmonds is not going to go anywhere, and that should take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Like, you got to let Rosen want to be back out there. Exactly, right? And that's what you look for from your quarterback. But in this type of a season, this type of a deficit, I'm protecting him going forward for 2019 and beyond. That's your quarterback for the future. I would not have him out in the field now. Mike Glennon never even warmed up. But Rosen's back out there, but it's been a Rams day. They've gotten healthy against Arizona. We're through 3 quarters. Back after this. You know, when you play in Los Angeles, there's a lot of film influence around, right? And Aaron Donald has put together a pretty good set of movies, I would say, leading the NFL in sacks. He's got one today, now 17.5 on the year, 3 tackles, a couple for a loss. Remember, he ate Chase Edmonds, who had no chance. He's just a force on every play. And this Rams defense, Charles, called for them to really step up. They've allowed 163 yards total today. And Rosen is toughing it out despite getting hammered last time. Here comes a blitz again. He sidesteps and he throws. And he's got a completion to Sherfield. It'll bring up a 3rd down. More on Aaron Donald. Let's go down to Pam.
Kevin, Aaron Donald told me he found that his group's lack of sacks and, you know, what he went through individually has just as much to do with the Rams' 2-game slide as anything else. He called it a 2-game drought, which ended with that first half sack that he was able to get. He told me when the unit goes through something like that, he goes through something like that. You have to stay patient. You can't get frustrated. He told me it's best to get that drought out of the way now rather than later.
That's so funny, right, Pam? He tells you, he talks about it like it's a drought. He's got 17.5 sacks. Here's Rosen on 3rd and short, rolls out. We get a penalty flag, and we get an incompletion. Barron was there. They tried to get it to Gresham, but let's decipher the penalty.
How about Barron channeling his defensive back days as a linebacker there in coverage, knocking it away.
Holding, number 84, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
Yeah, Gresham was the guy on the foul. So there is Wade Phillips. He's been doing this for a couple years, 41 in the NFL to be exact. And it's so funny. We were talking about Aaron Donald. Like, Wade, you know, he gets doubled now even more than he did early in the year. So how does he beat it? Well, he said, you know, you just go beat the first guy, and then you go beat the second guy.
He said the great ones don't worry about double teams. They just solve it.
How about this for the Cardinals? Picking it up with Edmonds making the play. Arizona still showing that fight, trying to do what they can, and they'll keep the football.
How about the Rams? They are known as the team that does all of the wild stuff, right? They're the Rams. You got to prepare for the Rams. Look at the blocking out in front. The Rams are always the team that's going to fake it, and today the Cardinals have gotten them with a pass from Larry Fitzgerald, now a fake punt from Chase Edmonds, excellent blocking out in front for the rookie from Fordham, and they pick up a first down and keep their drive alive. There's Jeff Rodgers. Is he the one who got us last year when he was in Chicago, and they had that Chicago-Minnesota game with the big fake on the punt return?
Yeah, we saw Jeff. So you got anything crazy cooked up today? And you're right. He had that crazy fake with Bryce Callahan, fake going off the field, and then they scored.
Delay of the game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
See, and unfortunately, you get momentum, you get a big play like that, you're out there, you're excited to go, and the first thing you do is get a delay of game, which epitomizes a lot of the season for the Cardinals, unfortunately, and that's that's part of the reason they're 3-11. Consistency, being able to do things the right way, being able to handle good things that just happen for you. And Steve Wilks, the head coach, understandably frustrated.
Four-man rush. Rosen on your side. It's Larry Fitzgerald who makes a move. And a nice gain into Rams territory. Down to about the 47. Another game break. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks so much, Kevin. From 1 yard out, Alvin Kamara as well. Alvin Kamara. The Saints take a 10-point lead at home with 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Kevin?
All right, so the Saints trying to grab that #1 overall seed in the NFC, and on second down that should be enough for a first with Edmonds, and it will. So that is the one game going on. Saints now up by 10, and the Bears lead the 49ers 14-9. Again, if the Rams win and the Bears lose, the Rams get that first round bye. But right now Chicago's in front as we look at Larry Fitzgerald, his career here at home. 2 away from 600 catches. Here's the fake. Rosen has time this time. Gonna let it go deep, and that is incomplete. Talib and Joyner were kind of smelling that one out, trying to get it to Chad Williams.
Ended up getting double covered downfield, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to leave it alone. He's shown his toughness to me. Talk about Josh Rosen. We saw the injury earlier where he's trying to throw a pass, and his arm was affected, maybe the bicep area, who knows. I would not have my #1 pick on the field at this stage after what he's gone through this season behind 9 different starting offensive line combinations.
They are keeping him out there. Meanwhile, LaMarcus Joyner, starting safety for the Rams. He's had a good year. And he's a little slow to come off the field, so they will take him out.
They need him. He's a versatile piece in the secondary. Can play safety, can go in the slot and cover people as a former cornerback. And look at that. Who's got it? Joyner, 20. Talib, 21. Turned out neither. An interception waiting to happen. The Cardinals are fortunate.
Looking to throw. He's going to go deep one more time, trying to get it to Williams again and again. There was excellent coverage there. Troy Hill was right there. So, Charles, you made it clear you wouldn't have him in the game right now. I'm just curious overall today, with everything that's gone on with the line issues, how do you evaluate him to this point in his first season?
I think you evaluate him more on the things he hasn't done than actually the things he's done. And what I mean by that is he hasn't let the situation get bigger than him. He hasn't asked out of football games when things have been tough. They took him out in Atlanta last week. He came back in this one. His moxie comes through in a big way because he just keeps standing there and firing, even though he has to take a hit like that from Aaron Donald. And behind 9 different offensive linemen, a bunch of receivers, undrafted, low drafted, there's no continuity for him. But he keeps staying the course. So I evaluate him more on that than all the other stuff. I think the other stuff will come along because the talent is obviously there. You got to surround him with people, though, Kevin.
Natson will let it go. And well done as it stays down there. Andy Lee, one of the best in this game at playing the football, and he's done it a long time. The 36-year-old will drop the Rams deep in their own territory. Aaron Donald, ho-hum, another 2-sack game, 18.5 on the year. He's terrible. So if you are a Cardinals fan and you're like, man, what can I, put my finger on here for some positive going forward? Well, I think here it is. Jared Goff in his rookie year took the middle of the year to start, and then he had an awful time starting that year. It was 0-7. You see the numbers, they were not good. Honestly, not too dissimilar from Josh Rosen, and now Goff is a star. He's a Pro Bowler. He's leading one of the best offenses in the league under Sean McVay as Anderson. This run game has been unbelievable, and Anderson breaking free for a huge run up near midfield. C.J. Anderson is going to pick up 45 more yards. It's going to bring him to 166 as the fill-in for Todd Gurley.
Check these guys out right there, okay? All of that group, and look at this. Married up here, right on through, and then he runs through the attempted tackle downfield, and now it's a sprint. And I wonder if he's thinking sideline or someone catch me, sideline or someone catch me, because he hasn't done that in a long time.
I'm just wondering how no one picked him up or used this guy all year. I don't understand it.
I would have thought he would have gotten a few more carries in relief of Christian McCaffrey in Carolina.
Speaking of carries in relief, the Rams give Anderson a spell, and Kelly will get the carry, and he has 7 yards here. So the Rams now have 253 yards rushing. Their season high was 270 against Denver earlier this year. 253 rushing.
The only people as happy or happier than head coach Sean McVay from what we've seen from the Rams today, Todd Gurley's happy for his teammates because he knows he's secure. But it's that offensive line. We've mentioned back to basics. Offensive linemen love it when you want to run the football and give you a chance to establish dominance against an opponent, and the Rams have done that today across the front.
John Kelly stays in the backfield. They will fake it. Kelly picks up the blitz. Goff's going to throw, and that's another completion to Edward. Has been a big part of the game, and he's near a first down.
And how about this line that's been together for 2 straight seasons with only 1 change? And it wasn't a change other than Jamon Brown was suspended to start the season, the right guard. So Austin Blythe jumped in, and guess what? Never gave the job back. Jamon Brown later cut now with the New York Giants. So 2 straight years, the 5 guys across the front made every start other than them sitting and resting in game 16 last year.
Goff to throw. He is going to go downfield for Woods, who's got it. Robert Woods all the way. Touchdown.
How about this route by Robert Woods, who's a true technician, and watch him go. Works inside, then works to the outside, and is even physical in the route running against Brandon Williams, where he used his right arm to essentially throw him to the ground and away from him. And Jared Goff off the play fake, and look at him use his mobility, gets outside for a nice easy throwing lane. And look how accurate he is on the move. Drops that right in between the 1 and the 7. And then Woods eludes the last tackle. And they might be looking to see if he stepped out on the sideline. At initial blush, I thought he was in bounds. But I'm not sure if that's what they're reviewing, because every scoring play is reviewed.
And we're talking about how great this run game is, Charles, and that's been the story, but Jared Goff has been really sharp.
And he needed that. You know, the Wolves were out encircling, weren't they? 1 and 2 in their last 3 games, throwing percentage down in the mid-50s. He's answered that call in a big way today.
It is a Rams route, 31-9. Goff to Woods, who's now got 100 yards receiving. Also has a rushing touchdown to his ledger. I think the Rams offense is back. Looking sharp today. That's the longest drive for the Rams this year. 4 plays, 95 yards. C.J. Anderson had a 46-yard touchdown, a 46-yard run. And then Woods with a 39-yard touchdown catch. And it's been a good day for Los Angeles, right? They tried to find their way. They wanted so desperately to get back to basics and started off poorly with a sack, strip fumble. Ever since then, though, it's been all Rams for the most part. Jared Goff is loving the fact that His team has run for 253 yards today.
And when you get that, you are so much more effective as a thrower. The pocket becomes less encumbered, doesn't it?
100%.
And how about that guy right there, C.J. Anderson? You know, I could get used to this L.A. thing. I'm kind of liking it out here. I'm telling you, they better pack him on ice on the trip home. His body's going to tell him a lot.
On first down, run it to David Johnson, and while they do that, we've got another game break. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
And we check in with the Steelers and the Saints. Pittsburgh down by 10, not anymore. Antonio Brown from Ben Roethlisberger, 3-yard score. It's a 3-point game, under 5 minutes left in the third. Kevin, Charles, and Pam.
Thank you, Kurt. Other game going on, the Bears have a 14-9 lead over the 49ers with under 7 minutes to play in that game. And Rosen goes down again. That is, nope. Let's say Rosen was not touched and he's still on his feet. He's going to pick up a first down. Aaron Donald saying, wait a second, I thought I got a hand on him.
Aaron Donald saying, I touched him. You need to challenge that. Because not only does he think he's down, that's another sack for Aaron Donald. And right there, he clearly touches him. Did you see him? Right there. Clearly. Look at the hand. It's right there. So this is going to come back if there's and there's the red challenge flag from Sean McVay. And guess what? Add another sack to Aaron Donald's total.
Rams are challenging the ruling on the field that the quarterback was not down by contact.
Well, that's going to be a sack. They'll review it, but that'll be number 3 for Aaron Donald. Well, they just overturned the call, which means Aaron Donald has his 3rd sack of the day. He now has 19.5 on the year. Not only leads the NFL, it's a new Rams record. He gets by Robert Quinn's old record of 19 at Charles. He's got a legit chance at our guy Michael Strahan's record. That record for the league is 22.5.
It is something, and he might get 1 or 2 more here because you figure Arizona keep throwing the football. Here's a 3rd down play. There's Aaron Donald.
13. They double-team Donald. Rosen in trouble. Gets hit as he throws incomplete. That time it was Sue who came with the pressure. I think the other thing is Aaron Donald, you look at his day. I mean, it really is amazing what he has done this year, really since he's come into the league, right? Defensive Player of the Year last year, 3 sacks today, a couple tackles for losses. There's one of them. Just dominating as usual. But Charles, 19.5 sacks as a defensive tackle.
And it's almost unfair getting the 3 today because the starting center, Mason Cole, is a rookie. The left guard, Colby Gossett, is a rookie. And the right guard, Ode Abouche, is a journeyman who's been with 4 teams now in his NFL career.
Joe Natson gets some blocks around the edge, making a move, and then is decked down at the 49-yard line.
And he needed that, and the Rams special teams needed that. A big return from JoJo Natson, who announced his presence with a 60-yard return in his first game with the Rams against the same Arizona team.
So to add to the ledger of Donald's resume, most games with 2+ sacks in a season. He now has 7. Only Reggie White, the great Reggie White, of course, who you know very well, you played with him. That's all. I mean, that list is incredible. And you got to remember, Aaron Donald is still so young. It's only his 5th year in the league. Sean Mannion in at quarterback for the Rams. They give Goff a break. And John Kelly will run the football. So Sean Mannion has thrown 50 career passes. Actually made a start last year because Sean McVay rested everybody week 17. They knew what their playoff fate was going to be. Jared Goff all smiles. Great day for him. 19 of 24, 216 yards and a touchdown, and 447 yards with this Rams offense. It's Andrew Whitworth.
Look at him, still hovering and protecting his young charge. How about that, the veteran Andrew Whitworth. Still going to be around, the young guy.
Short game for Kelly. You know, so we're talking about Whitworth, who's one of the great veterans in this league, 3-time Pro Bowler, and one of the more touching things I've ever seen in a game, at the Rams-Chiefs game, at the end of the game, he and Jared Goff stayed on the field. That was right around the time of the shooting in Thousand Oaks. and all the fires that affected so many people in Southern California and Northern California. And they had families of the victims from the shooting. And he and Jared Goff hugged people. Andrew told us the other day on the phone, he said, you know, we have people crying on our shoulders. He said, it was the hardest thing I've ever done on a football field. He said, but I'll tell you what, I was proud of my quarterback. Because you think about that game against the Chiefs, to go out and play like that, and then to have the wherewithal to do that and be there for other people, it showed a lot. And I thought that was an unbelievable moment.
And all these Rams were affected with these fires as well as the shooting. The shooting is in their community where they go to work every day. The fires, of course, affected many of them with their homes and their families. A number of people were displaced. So when people talk about the adversity the Rams have faced with 2 losses recently, they'll look at you and go, yeah, but you weren't around when we were wondering whether we'd have our homes, whether our families were safe, how we were coming to work every day. They dealt with a lot of things as well that we don't talk about. And so I don't, you know, the 2-game losing streak, they didn't like it, but it was something they could get past because it was for a whole different thing.
Whitworth, by the way, donated a paycheck to the victims' families from that shooting, so he has done quite a bit for the community.
And I believe he is the Walter Payton Award nominee for the Rams this year with the NFL for NFL Man of the Year.
5-yard penalty.
And he is a very worthy nominee. This wasn't just him giving a game check in this one instance. He's done a bunch of things, both there and when he was in Cincinnati playing for the Bengals, to help out the communities that he lived in.
Punting situation for Johnny Hekker and the Rams.
I don't think they'll fake this one.
I don't think you have to.
I don't think in this case the Rams have to use one of their many fakes.
They will let it bounce. Pharaoh Cooper lets it go, and the Cardinals will be inside their own 10. With that, game break time. Checking back in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, you're well aware that a Rams win coupled with a Bears loss, and the Rams would clinch a first-round bye. Well, the Bears aren't cooperating right now. Jordan Howard with a short touchdown run of 2 yards, and they lead 14-9 in a nail-biter with the 49ers. Kevin, Charles, and Pam?
Kurt, thanks for the update. Until the Bears have the ball there with 5.5 to play, so that one's coming down to the wire. This one isn't. Rams are going to win. Saints are winning by 3, so that's an interesting development. If the Steelers win, all of a sudden they got the same record, and then you go to next week where if the Saints were to lose and the Rams were to win, Rams get the 1 seed back.
A lot to play for down the stretch, and it changes almost hourly, doesn't it?
It does. Remember, the Saints beat the Rams, so they do have the head-to-head tiebreaker there. That's why that is a factor. They'll run it. David Johnson, by the way, Glennon is now in at quarterback, and so Josh Rosen's day is done. He had a tough day. 12 of 23, 87 yards, again under constant pressure. Did run the ball for 49 yards today. And I think Charles pointed out, if you want to judge anything about him, I don't know how you don't think the kid's tough the last month we've seen him play.
And let's not run away from it. Coming out of college, that was one of the big question marks people had about it. It's one of the big knocks on him in evaluation. Was he tough enough? Would he stand in there and fight? And I think so far in this rookie season, he's answered that question in a big way.
Sherfield has the catch. You want to watch Aaron Donald again, already 3 sacks, and now legitimately has a chance to break Michael Strahan's record. Sorry, Michael, I know you're back in the studio watching, but he's got a shot.
If you're Michael, you hope he gets to 22.
Leave it right there.
Stop it right there.
We get a penalty.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 94. Defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that goes against the rookie from Stephen F. Austin, John Franklin Myers. He gets the penalty call against him.
Sean McVay looking on. Wade Phillips.
I think he's got to like the way his defense responded in the second half.
Yeah, you asked for it. They played great in this half. You know, McVay, we talked to him for a long time yesterday. He was so, I mean, he always is. Completion to Sherfield. He was angry. I mean, he wanted a turnaround here, right? I mean, he wanted to go back to basics. They have. He has to be pleased today the way this team has looked. And Wade Phillips, he's been doing this a long time. He's one of the great coaches this league has ever had. He's also one of the great characters this league has ever had. As we have an injured Cardinal here, it is Corey Cunningham, the left tackle.
He's done a nice job as a rookie for them having to step in a tough situation.
But I want to ask you a question, Charles. Where were you in 1986?
I was in college, dude.
Check this out. There is Sean McVay, who was born January 24th in Dayton, Ohio. What an adorable baby. At that time, Wade Phillips been coach in the league. He was a Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator. And the fascinating thing that you and I didn't really remember is that he was coordinator under Buddy Ryan.
And that just blew me away. And the reason why is Wade Phillips usually has autonomy as a defensive coordinator. And the idea that he was coordinating under Buddy Ryan, a former D coordinator of much renown, then turned head coach. So we asked him, did you actually get to call defenses with Buddy around? What was the answer?
So, well, I did, but anytime the team picked up a first down, he would immediately say blitz.
He said that when the offense moved the ball in practice, if they had a drive going, he'd call blitzes even on offensive days when the offense is trying to get their work in. I used to hear all the time, and you probably have too, when Mike Ditka was the coach of the Bears and Buddy was the D coordinator, Corey Cunningham goes off.
Yeah, a little help. Hopefully he's okay.
Hopefully he's okay. You would hear about Buddy Ryan blitzing the offense, and Mike Ditka saying, it's an offensive drill, Buddy. Cut it out. And Buddy would go ahead and blitz again the next play.
But you think about two of the great defensive minds this game has had, right? As Glennon going to fire near side. And it's caught by Tolliver. And they didn't know each other. They kind of was a mutual thing where Wade had a friend on the staff with the Bears. And Wade, I think, was with the Saints at the time. And his unit shut down one of the high-flying offenses in the league. And Buddy called and said, how dare you do that? Our team should have done that.
He actually shut down Chicago.
There you go.
Buddy was there. And Buddy said, the heck with that. I don't want you shutting anyone else down. I want you helping me shut people down.
And so they got together.
They got together.
Well, if you're a Rams fan, not only do you love this, but I think you're going to love the scoreboard. The Steelers just took the lead over the Saints.
How about that? Third quarter.
Number 1 seed is not out of the question just yet.
But bottom line for this Rams team, they're just so excited for they and their fans to see them look like the Rams of earlier this year.
Lennon tipped around. Almost intercepted. It got batted around. So coming into today, the Rams had lost 2 straight. Never happened under McVay. They were a little off. Everyone we talked to admitted it. Sean McVay wanted to get back to basics. Are you comfortable with what you've seen today?
I am. Now, we have to keep in mind they're playing a 3-11 team.
Right.
They're struggling. But at the same time, the execution was sharp. It was crisp. They handled what they wanted to. And they put a lot of things out there on tape today that we haven't seen much of from the Rams this year. So if you're getting prepared for the Rams in the playoffs, your tape watching just increased because you're like, I didn't see that before. Where did that come from? And now you have to get prepared for those things as well.
Fourth and 1. Arizona obviously going to go for it. They will run the football.
I don't know.
I don't think he got there.
I don't think so either.
David Johnson. Sure, they'll take a look and measure while we find out. Let's get another game break with Kurt.
And how about another touchdown from Antonio Brown, putting the Steelers ahead. This is second of the game, and what once was a 28-14 lead for the Saints is now a 28-24 lead for the Steelers.
Very interesting. So we told you the Steelers jumped in front. That's how they confirmed that Johnson did not get the first down. And it'll be the Rams football with 2:51 to go here from Glendale. Larry Fitzgerald, who today has thrown his first ever touchdown pass. He's got 6 catches for 54 yards. He has been the consummate professional even in a season which has been rough to say the least for Arizona. As they're challenging this spot.
Arizona challenging really on the field, and the ball was short of the line of game.
And why not? You should challenge it. I don't think that they're going to get it, but you got to try everything at this stage, and there's no sense not trying if you're Steve Wilkes. But if indeed this is Larry Fitzgerald's last home game, I don't know that it is, and as we said at the top of our game, he's not going to tell us. He'll just go off somewhere, and we'll hear about it later. But boy, oh boy, what a career.
Yeah, that's a lot of receptions. It's the most with any single team in history. It's the second most behind Jerry Rice all time. He's caught a pass from 20 different quarterbacks, and he has not had all Hall of Fame quarterbacks here. Kurt Warner, obviously. Look at this. First career reception was in 04. Josh Rosen was 7 years old and was a junior
and playing tennis.
And along the way, he has been one of, if not the most respected player in this league, with who he is on the field as a teammate, off the field. He's just a great guy, bottom line.
And one way to measure it, we won't see it because we'll be off air, but after the game, there will be a ton of Los Angeles Rams will make a beeline for Larry Fitzgerald just to shake his hand, just to meet him.
You think about it, too, trade deadline this year. A lot of teams could have used a receiver like that. And, you know, we saw, what, 3 big receivers traded. He, important to him to play his entire career as a Cardinal.
Doesn't want to be anywhere else.
I think that's pretty special.
Not going to chase the ring as many guys do, and I don't blame them for that. You know, a lot of people think that's a flaw.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Short of the line of game. First down, Rams. Arizona will be charged with a timeout.
They had to try it, you know, and this Cardinals team, of course, in disarray this season, but they have plenty of cap space available. They have a quarterback that they're going to build around. And the general manager, Steve Keim, the owner, Michael Bidwell, they're vowing to get it fixed. And in this league, you can get things fixed a lot quicker than what people think. Look at this Bears team. They were in last place last year.
Every year there's a last to first, right?
Houston last year was in disarray. They're going to win their division maybe.
2 years ago, they were a team that was in the cellar. And then what happened? Sean McVay came, and it's been totally turned around.
So it can happen. You get the right guys in. It can happen quickly in this league.
One thing about, with 2:51 to go, now the Rams are going to run it out. I'll say about Fitzgerald, I have no idea, Charles, if this is going to be his last home game, if this is going to be his last year. But I will say this, after sitting down with him for a while Friday at the Cardinals facility, you can't tell me he still doesn't love putting on the uniform and playing. I think he does.
Absolutely loves it. We asked him about, you know, is it difficult in a season like this? He says never difficult to come to work when you're playing a kid's game, right? What did he say? They're paying you a king's ransom?
Paying you a king's ransom to play a kid's game.
But I love playing football, and I love the game, and he never cheats it, not on one down.
Another carry for John Kelly, who will meander his way to the 16. Down to the 2-minute warning we go. Rams have gotten healthy today, but Larry Fitzgerald having some highlights like he always does. Larry the Legend, a lot of people's hero around here. Well, those two were together in Denver. They're sharing a laugh now because it's been all Rams. And C.J. Anderson, what a story. He's picked up this week. Todd Gurley's banged up. Tried to go today, could not play. And C.J. Anderson is one shy of his career rushing yards at a game, 167.
How about that? Look. You know what Wade was telling him? You know, we won a ring together in Denver, all right? We won a Super Bowl 50 ring. We said we try and get another one here in Los Angeles.
Sounds like a plan. They will run Kelly, first down. And I'm sure that'll lead to the victory formation for the Rams, who will up their record to 12 wins on the year. And we will give that to them. And now, again, their eyes on that Steelers-Saints game. If the Steelers win, they'll have the same record as the Saints. Saints do have the tiebreaker because they beat them. But that makes next week in play. So if the Saints were to lose and the Rams were to win, Rams could still get the #1 seed. The Rams still haven't clinched a first-round bye. As it stands right now, the Bears are hanging on to a 5-point lead over the Niners with 2 minutes to go. So if that holds, the Rams will not clinch that first-round bye yet. They'll have to wait another week.
What monster game for Pittsburgh, though. You know, they seem to be in such control of the AFC North for the longest time. And in recent weeks, with Baltimore's ascension, all of a sudden, it is really important for Pittsburgh to win this game. Baltimore's win last night really hurt the Steelers. So they've got to win to keep their hopes going. How about Baltimore's defense? Would you like to get prepared for them at all?
No.
No. You want no part of that defense right now.
Manny will take another knee, and that should do it here from Glendale. Aaron Donald, another day, 3 more sacks for him. He's trying to sack Todd Gurley. Somebody stop him.
That one doesn't count, Aaron. That will not go in the books.
Sean McVay, a little love for Patrick Peterson, the 8-time Pro Bowler, but the Rams coming off 2 losses. They were a little uneven, and they certainly found their form today. They look great in really every aspect of the game, and they dominate the Cardinals today. 31-9, the final score here from Glendale. We'll be back to cap it off. Big Rams win. Back after this.